We are on to Cleveland, hoping the New York Giants can get their first win of the season as this Week 3 matchup is just a couple days away. We've got an in-depth preview on today's show, and I'm going to tell you what the New York Giants have to do if they want to get a win on Sunday. But if you want to do your part and help the Giants get their first win of the 2024 NFL season, go down right now and hit that thumbs up icon. Matthew Peterson, host of the Browns Report, he said that the Giants Now Real Ones will not get to 1,000 likes on today's video. I call BS. Let's prove them wrong. Hit that thumbs up icon, and let's go Big Blue. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. I appreciate everybody for stopping by. I've got 5 things the New York Giants must do if they want to beat the Cleveland Browns. We'll also take a look at what the Browns have done in Week 1 and Week 2, but I thought it would be smart to start with the injury report that came out on Wednesday. Relatively clean for the New York Giants. The only player on this list that I think that will not play on Sunday is veteran defensive back Nick McCloud. He didn't play in Week 2. He got hurt in Week 1. He's dealing with a knee injury. And then Darius Muasau, who did miss that Week 2 matchup against the Commanders, he was limited at practice on Wednesday as he's dealing with the knee. Isaiah Simmons was a limited participant due to personal reasons. I think he'll be fine. This one kind of came out of nowhere, though. Kayvon Thibodeaux, he was a limited participant as well, dealing with a shoulder injury. Hopefully it's nothing serious, because if the Giants are going to beat the Browns, you're going to need number 5 to be in the backfield, getting after number 4 for Cleveland. The reason I wanted to talk about Muasau and Simmons is because the Giants' inside linebacker room, it's already really razor thin. You got 2 healthy bodies, and Bobby Okereke and Micah McFadden. Muasau nursing a little bit of a knee injury, and he's the guy that, look, maybe he does play, but whether he does or does not, you are thin at that spot, and you could see Curtis Bolton made an active player for Sunday coming off the practice squad. And you might see Ty Summers for the 3rd time this season elevated off the practice squad. So I'll continue to pay attention to Muasau. Hopefully he can roll and the Giants can get back to full strength at that inside linebacker depth chart. The Cleveland Browns injury report is much lengthier than the New York Giants. Myles Garrett did not participate at practice on Wednesday. He's dealing with a foot injury. He actually missed the practice last week for Cleveland. Still played about 65% of the snaps. I talked to Matthew Peterson, host of the Cleveland Browns Report, and he says he thinks Garrett will play, but could be on a little bit of a pitch count as well. DeJuan Jones, an offensive tackle, he did not participate due to a knee injury. David Njoku, probably not going to play. That's a big win for the Giants. He's a good player. Pierre Strong did not participate. Neither did Jamari Thrash, whereas Denzel Ward, Zadarius Smith, Jedrick Wills, Alex Wright were all limited participants, and Jack Conklin, he was a full participant with a knee injury. Definitely pay attention to Conklin, Wills, and DeJuan Jones for the Cleveland Browns. That's 3 offensive tackles who at least have some sort of designation on the midweek injury report. That Friday injury report, though, that will be big to pay attention to, because that's when we'll find out if these players are questionable or doubtful, and then we'll put more color to the picture of who might be out there for the Giants and the Cleveland Browns. When you talk about the Brownies, their offense this year, it struggled just like the New York Giants offense. They're 22nd in points per game, 25th in yards per game, 26th in passing yards per game, 21st in rushing yards per game, but they have been able to hold the ball for a large portion of the game, 32 minutes and 39 seconds through 2 weeks. And we know in Week 2, the Washington Commanders dominated that game because of the time of possession battle. Almost 39 minutes of that football game, Washington had the ball. That comes down to how good your third down defense is. Can you get off the field when it matters most? We'll find out if they could do that this week. Also, the offensive line for Cleveland. Very interesting stats here. Saw these from Pro Football Focus, The Browns' offensive line has allowed 33 pressures through 2 weeks, one of the highest numbers in the National Football League. But they've only credited 1 sack to the Browns' offensive line, where Deshaun Watson has already been sacked 8 times this year, meaning that you can get after Deshaun in the pocket. He'll look to create the play, try to make something out of nothing, and he will take those sacks. So if you can get after this quarterback and make him uncomfortable in the pocket, you're going to put yourselves in a driver's seat to potentially win a football game. Look, Deshaun Watson at one point in time was looked at as a top 5 quarterback in this league. He is no longer that person. He is completing less than 60% of his passes. He's thrown for less than 356 yards in 2 games, 1 touchdown to 2 interceptions. He's inaccurate, he's not confident, and he is not the same guy that was holding it down for the Houston Texans. He's actually been leaning on his guy Jerome Ford a lot this year. And if the Giants want to be able to win this game, they got to find a way to limit the rushing attack for Cleveland. Jerome Ford has 108 yards through 2 games, 1 touchdown, but he is someone that can go the distance anytime he touches the football. He's an explosive back. You got to keep him bottled up, and if you could do that, you could be in a good spot. The Browns' defense, on the other hand, not great statistically either, but they have a lot more talent on the football. They have great players, it seems like, at every single level of that defense. In Myles Garrett on the defensive line. You got Denzel Ward at corner with other great players like Grant Newsome at the linebacker spot. You got J.O.K. as well as Grant Delpit on the back end. So they've got good players at every level. They've allowed 23 points per game this year, 22nd. Yards per game, they're in the top half, as well as passing yards and rushing yards. So their defense has been what has been able to keep them in football games this year. Their pass rush is what is their backbone of their team. They have 24 pressures through 2 weeks and 7 sacks. You cannot let Myles Garrett wreck this football game. That's the matchup that I'm going to be paying attention to the most. The Giants' offensive line has been really good compared to years past, or the first 2 games of the season. But Myles Garrett, he might be the best defensive player in football, and you know he's licking his chops at this Giants offensive line. I'm going to get to my keys to victory coming up in a second, but make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We're going to be live on Sunday, an hour before kickoff and through the entire game, breaking it down. I'll have live play-by-play. It'll feel like a Giants watch party, and you should be there. And help us beat the Cleveland Browns report and subscribers picked up this week. We were up 15 points right now. Let's make it 30. If you love the Giants, subscribe to the channel right now. 5 things the New York Giants must do if they want to leave Cleveland and return to New York, New Jersey for Week 4 against the Cowboys. They want to be 1-2. They got to do these things. That's coming up in a second. But if you're looking for last-minute tickets to go catch the Giants game in Cleveland, or you want to get ready for Week 4 against the Dallas Cowboys, go download the Game Time app and use the promo code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase, where terms do apply. Game Time's the best ticketing app in the game. You get the best seats for the lowest prices guaranteed. Prices actually drop as the events get closer. So if you're a procrastinator, this is the app for you. And oh yeah, you get the lowest price guaranteed. Make sure you take advantage of the 2 features that make the experience that much better for customers. The all-in pricing feature. That way the price you see is the price that you pay. No hidden fees. And also the Game Time Picks feature, which is brand new. It makes going to see your favorite teams, bands, and concerts that much easier. Personalize your feed with things that you love. You get to see your seat view from inside the app. You get to access your tickets from your phone, and it's easy to resell your tickets as well. So download the Game Time app. Use that promo code ChatSports. That's ChatSports, and you get $20 off your first purchase, where terms do apply. Support the show. Support the sponsor. I'll make sure all that information is clickable down in the comments and description of today's show. My number 1 key to victory. And if the Giants only do one thing that we're about to talk about, it has to be winning 3rd downs. The Giants could not get off the field against Washington last week. 7 offensive drives for Washington. 7 drives that ended in points. They did not get off the field one time on 3rd down. And this week, they're going up against a Cleveland Browns offense that is the 2nd worst unit in the National Football League through 2 weeks when it comes to converting 3rd downs. Deshaun Watson and his offense, they're picking up first downs on 3rd downs at just a 13.8% clip, the 2nd worst in the NFL. You have to get off the field. Whereas the Giants' defense through 2 weeks, they're allowing opposing offenses to almost pick up first downs at 63%. The Giants are only getting stops at 41.7% of the time. Something's going to have to give. Either the Giants' defense on 3rd down gets better, or the Browns' offense on 3rd down gets better as well. And I'm going to be honest with you. If you lose the 3rd down battle, this one could get very ugly very quick. Speaking of 3rd downs, you got to be good on 1st and 2nd down. The Giants' offense cannot put themselves in a spot where they are consistently playing behind the chains. You have to avoid 3rd and longs. Because if you get in those spots, Myles Garrett is going to pin his ears back as he knows you are throwing the football. He may be the best pass rusher in the NFL. You don't want to get in those obvious 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11, 3rd and 12, where he knows that you are throwing the football. If you do that, if you consistently operate in 3rd and long, you will consistently pump the football, and you will continuously see Daniel Jones on his back. How do you avoid 3rd and long? You got to be better than what you have been in 2 weeks on 1st and 2nd down. The Giants have been the worst team in the National Football League through the first 2 games of the season on early downs. You see the chart. You want to be to the right and up. The Giants, they are down and to the left. This offense is not very good, but it was better against Washington. And if you want to put out a good product on Sunday against Cleveland, you got to be in 3rd and short. You got to be in 2nd and 6. You can't play behind the sticks. The Cleveland Browns defense has too many individual stars to put yourself playing against the 8 ball. Be good on 1st and 2nd down, and you got a chance to win this football game. For the Giants defense, nothing you did on Sunday against the Commanders was good enough. But what you need to do this Sunday is make Deshaun Watson uncomfortable in the pocket. Because he will take sacks. He will hold on to the football. And he will turn it over. Look, the last 2 seasons, Deshaun Watson is one of the worst quarterbacks in the National Football League. He's completing 61% of his throws in 2023, 58% of his throws in 2024. He's thrown 8 touchdowns to 6 picks with 6 fumbles. He's turned the ball over via interception 6 times in the last 2 years, and he's fumbled 6 times. That's potentially 12 turnovers in 8 football games. And when he's under pressure, he's one of the worst quarterbacks in the National Football League. Shout out to Pro Football Focus for these stats. Deshaun Watson under pressure this year is completing just 50% of his passes. When he is blitzed, he completes just 44% of his passes, and he's thrown an interception. But it's not just 2024 that Watson's been bad under pressure. In 2023, he was just as bad as well. When he's blitzed in 2023, completed 57.7% of his passes. When he was under pressure last year, he completed just 42% of his passes. So if you can get home, if you can keep him rattled, he'll take sacks, he'll throw incompletions, and he'll also throw you the football and turn it over. Shane Bowen, I know you're a bend but don't break defensive guy. But, man, you got to look at the tape. You got to look at the analytics. You got to look at the trends. You have to put pressure on number 4. And on offense, it's pretty simple for the Giants. Just get the frickin' ball to Malik Nabers. He's already one of the best offensive players in this league. 18 targets last week. It should have been 22. Whatever you got to do to get number 1 the football, do it. And Malik Nabers, catch the fucking football. That's all I'll say on that. Nabers through 2 weeks. He's 8th in the NFL with 108 yards after catch. He's 4th in the NFL in receiving yards. 3rd in the NFL in targets. 2nd in the NFL with 15 catches. And my favorite stat, 1st in the NFL with 9 first down receptions. This offense will go as Malik Nabers is featured. He is the gas in the tank of this engine. And I know this for a fact. Malik Nabers wants to make up for last week's drop. He is a competitive SOB. He knows he let the team down. He knows that his drop was not probably, but a piece of the pie when it comes to the blame chart. But man, oh man, a motivated, talented playmaker like that, I think number 1 could get busy on Sunday. And the last thing, take the handcuffs off the offense. Get out of 2 tight end personnel. Look, you are never, ever, 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 ever going to win a game if you will never be an explosive offense if Chris Manhertz is out-snapping Jalin Hyatt. You're also not going to win a football game against the Cleveland Browns if you play not to lose. If you try to back into a win against Cleveland, we're running the ball on 2nd and 10. We're running the ball on 3rd and 6. We're playing the field position battle. You will not be able to do that against the Cleveland Browns. They have much more talent on their roster. Their coaching staff is better than you as well. You have to find a way to get it done. And the way you do that is by opening up the passing game. Chris Manhertz has out-snapped Jalin Hyatt through 2 weeks. That cannot happen. He is one of the most explosive players on this team. Find a way to get him involved. And if you have him on the field, defenses will account for him. It'll open up things for the other people on this team. Predict the score for me down in the chat right now. Who's winning the football game, and what do you think the score will be? This is a winnable football game for the Giants despite being 6.5-point dogs. But they're going to have to play their A game if they want to win this game. We'll find out if they can. Unfortunately, I have them losing this football game. I'm going to be rooting my tail off for them to win. I think there is a path that they could travel down to win this football game. But I got the Browns pulling out the win. I think they have a better coaching staff. I think they have a better roster, and they're playing at home, and they know they cannot lose this football game. Just like the Giants know they can't lose it, but they also said that about week 2. Give me the Browns, unfortunately, 23-13. Make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. I'm on Instagram at @MarshallGreen_. Hit me up over there, and let's go Big Blue.